I'm looking.
You are in live stream.
Okay, I'm live in Tehran now?
Yeah, everywhere.
Okay, yeah. What's this? 10 years ago, we wouldn't have known what this is.
Yeah, but now.
No. Yeah.
Hi. Hello. Hi, everybody. Ja. Hi, سلام. چطوری خوبی؟ حالتون چطوره؟ خوبی؟ مرسی.
Oh, sorry.
Where is the green monster?
Here.
Oh.
If everyone has a seat. Welcome inside VoiceOver Noord tour. Today is all about In Search of Love. We will travel a couple of places in Amsterdam North. This project is part of the project Inside the Tolhuistuin, Christ of History exhibition, part 3. And we are currently traveling with a couple of artists through Amsterdam North to give a new voiceover, to search for new meanings, to search for new images. So a couple of artists who are among us will guide us to several places in Amsterdam North, and we will talk with them about their love for that part of town. And we will talk with them about the future, about how to connect to other people. These are some of the topics that will pass by today. My co-curator Elham is putting her phone inside my face, so she's registering this. So there's a live stream that can be followed also right now, plus on YouTube. So perhaps you can turn it towards the people inside the bus and then ask them to wave.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey. Hello.
Say hello, Noord.
Hello, Noord.
Our first stop is in a part of town that is called Elsenhagen. And Elsenhagen is an area which is a mixed area, new houses, and we will visit the first person who has bought a house there. And he's the first visitor, and due to the crisis they had to remain there for a while, a couple of houses, because most of the houses couldn't be sold at that moment. So they had this small community which was in development, and they didn't know how the future would look like. And slowly they started to add value to that part of town. So we will visit him. It's a journalist, a commentator on television. Perhaps some of you have seen him. He's a program maker, and he is a football fanatic. So he has a Turkish background, so I will also ask him about the game tonight on television, the Netherlands against versus Turkey. So I will also ask him about his vision on that game. So that will be the first stop. among us is also Chris Keulemans and Marta Pisco. Chris, welcome that you're joining us. If there's one person in this part of town with so much love for this part of town, then it's Chris Keulemans. He has become a physical symbol of love in this town. So we will also look through his eyes. He will take us to some lovely spots in this part of town later on during our trip. And he will be our Robert ten Brink. For the people who don't know Robert ten Brink, Chris will be today our Robert ten Brink. And if other people want to get married, that's also possible. You can also, if you're alone, if you feel desperate, and you need we can also help you with that. We can take you to the best places where to hook up, where to bring your boyfriend or girlfriend. So just let me know. And Chris, perhaps if you have a second, before we reach Elsnagen, can you come to me? Perhaps you can. So I hope you don't fall out. We will go to Elsenhagen first. What do you know about that area? Have you traveled there? Because you're someone who has been living in this part of town. Can you tell something about that area where we're going right now?
A little bit, because it's not the part of Noord I know best, but I got to know it as a football player. I'm a football player myself. So we used to, sometimes we had to go and play the local team, which was always scary, because back then in the 90s, you never went to this part of town unless you had to play a football game, and then it was intimidating, because I'm a goalkeeper, and behind my goal would be the fanatic supporters of the home team, invariably slightly overweight guys in their 40s and 50s with pit bull terriers, hardly on a leash, and drinking beer, throwing their plastic beer cans at me whenever I made a save, and I made beautiful saves all the time, of course. And afterwards you had to leave the pitch as quickly as you could, otherwise you'd get into really uncivilized conversations with these gentlemen. But as a great part of this part of Amsterdam, Noord, that surrounding has been renovated as well. They built beautiful new houses, and it's become a kind of meeting place or a safe haven for mostly younger professionals with small kids looking for an affordable place to live inside of Amsterdam, but quiet enough to let your kids play outside. And that's more or less the atmosphere we're going to find today.
It's funny that you mentioned your career as a football player. You also wrote a book about that. Oprah would say that. He also wrote a book about that. This team, they still exist. And what I've heard from the people who newly arrived at Elsenhagen,
Seeing the football fields right now.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mm-hmm. What's the name of the team?
VVV.
VVV.
Mm-hmm. We always lost. I mean, you had to lose, otherwise you'd be in trouble.
They wouldn't let you go safely outside. Okay.
No, I mean the cemetery is just around the corner, so.
And Chris, do you ever regret that you didn't become a professional football player? When was the moment that you decided I have to become a writer instead of a football player?
I tried to postpone that decision as long as I could. I'm actually born in Tunis. So when I was 18, I could choose if I wanted to be Dutch or Tunisian. At that moment, I had a serious conversation with myself because I thought maybe if I get a Tunisian passport, my chances of becoming the national goalkeeper there would be bigger than here. But in the end, I chose to be Dutch, and that's where I gave up all my dreams of having a professional career.
Great, Chris. And tonight is a match between Turkey and the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to one of the football commentators. He is Turkish, but he is also Dutch. So we're going to ask him about his dilemmas tonight. His children are favorably Dutch, but he himself has doubts from time to time. Depending on the political situation in Turkey, he is Turkish, and the last few years he has become more and more Dutch. So let's see if we can pass through here. If we get stuck, you all have to push, yeah? So that's one part of the deal. You get the free ride, but...
Can I make just one slight correction? It's not football, it's
Soccer.
Sorry, miss, what's your name? Heidi, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Is dit die Leemstierstraat? Ik weet hier geen bejaardencentrum. Of loopt die straat door naar dat nieuwe gebied?
Ja, dat nieuwe gebied moet het zijn. Ja. Dat nieuwe gebied.
Dit is die straat die ik dus zag op.
Ja, we gaan naar het nieuwe gebied.
Oké, nou dan zitten we niet goed. Even kijken of we hier doorheen kunnen, dat twijfel ik.
Dus nummer 52.
Ja. Maar dan weet ik helemaal geen bejaardencentrum. Is dat doorloopt zo?
Ik weet ook niet hoe je hier door kan.
Nee, dat weet ik ook niet. Nee. Ik denk dat ik buitenom moet helemaal. Dus we gaan even terug.
Ja.
Even een spiegel maken. Gewoon achteruit.
Ja, we moeten volgens mij weer daar de...
Ja, ik moet er gewoon weer op.
Ja. En dan eraf. Ja.
Ik voelde het al vreemd. Ik denk, ze zijn hier aan het bouwen zeker. Dus vandaar. Elshagen, dat is dit. Dat is met mijn Elshagen. Zeepunt. De sturen. Ik denk, dit wordt allemaal volgebouwd. Dus dat dacht ik eigenlijk dat het hier was.
Dit is gewoon
Dit wordt allemaal volgebouwd.
Ja.
Ga je schuurtje?
Nee, ik zat aan de verkeerde kant.
Een paar minuten doorsteken.
We konden niet doorsteken, maar we zijn nu weer op de goede route, dus we komen nu naar je toe. Ja? Nou,
بزنی قشنگ میتونی ببین به در ببین چی داریم من میتونی بعضی موقع روش بزنی
آره،
صافش کنی درسته؟ Waar gaan we nu heen?
we gaan naar de wijk Elsenhagen. Ja. Ja, en dan gaan we hier weer de Eidoorlaan op en dan linksaf.
Oké.
Het is een nieuwbouwwijk en we gaan naar de eerste bewoner van deze wijk.
De eerste bewoner van deze week. Dus hij heeft voor het eerst een huisje gekocht.
Ja, hij is de eerste die een huis heeft gekocht in deze wijk.
Ja? Hoe weet je dat? Dat is moeilijk voor.
Nee, dat heb ik hem gevraagd natuurlijk.
Ja, goeie antwoord.
Ja. Dat heb ik hem gevraagd.
Ja.
Ik ben natuurlijk op zoek gegaan naar degene die het ook heeft zien ontwikkelen.
Ja.
Hoe is die wijk ontwikkeld? Wat betekent het als je ergens nieuw aankomt? En hoe krijgt het dan vorm? Wanneer wordt het?
Hoe lang woont hij hier al?
Hij woont hier zo'n 6,5 jaar. De wijk
6,5 jaar.
6,5 jaar.
Nou, deels. Ik heb
fashionable. Still, some parts like this is quite ugly. So it's not very. It's built like it was cheap, but it's getting more and more fashionable. So probably at some point they will replace the older modernist buildings like those. Those flats are okay. Also, I'm sure that these were already there 30 years ago.
But still, if you want to buy a house, I think Amsterdam Noord is still the cheapest.
It's still cheaper, but
Then the
Belmer.
Belmer and Amsterdam Noord are the cheapest.
Yeah, but also they went up. But,
They went there?
Huh?
Where?
They went up in price.
Oh,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
But not, at least you can find places here. Yeah. And for international, compared to international, Amsterdam North is still very close to the center.
Yeah.
And on your bike, you're at the boat in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
On the bike.
Yeah.
And the boat goes all night.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah. Now they have these new. It's not so new now. These are just 20 years old now. New.
This is the shopping center, right?
Yeah.
What happened to this process of construction of the whole country? I mean, because I know because one of my friends told me about it that in the 80s or in the 90s there was a big subsidy for building houses for individuals, for everybody.
Yeah.
My landlord built 2 houses in that era.
Yeah, maybe that was also because of the socialist areas, because the government promoted private property as a social, so that everybody could afford his own house. It was not for the rich. It was a social measure program. But those programs are gone. Now it's more and more free market. And the people who built the house then with the subsidy, they're lucky now because most of the houses are going up in price.
What would happen here, do you think?
Still too close to the highway, but for a living. But they will apparently they're making something here. They're waiting for the right moment. Of course, now because of the economic situation, it will not go as fast as before. But I can imagine at least this could be. You can reach it from here, and you can make an office building. It's not so easy to reach because there's a lot of roads around, but you can make bridges.
Yeah.
There's already a bridge there, and you can make this accessible. But maybe because it's so close to the highway, maybe you can make a wall there.
Yeah.
But this will not be for private housing. Maybe here you could start to do that. But people, it's always if you have children and they have to cross this road to the school that is there, that's also risky. So people like not to make it too unsafe for children.
Yeah.
But this area is inside the city, so it's as the city cannot expand too much. It's city has limits.
Yeah.
So they will in the end find something to do.
Any little location to build new houses or to make it a bit more inhabitable.
Yeah. Or in the end, otherwise the only thing you can do is make a park of it. But they will not leave it in the end this way because now it's deserted.
Yeah.
But this was certainly not here. This looks like it's, of course, it looks old style housing, but it's, I guess it's all. Is this renovated or is this?
Yeah, it seems more like renovated. Huh?
Yeah, maybe it's renovated. Yeah.
Or is new? I don't know.
This is new.
This is new.
And that's new. That's clear.
The architecture of the effect. Is this new already?
Some of it is new, some of it's renovated. I guess the wooden things. It's probably like here. This could be very new, all of it. But they try to make it in a style that it's a bit already integrated in the style of the area.
It's called Karaj.
Yeah.
And you know Karaj?
Yeah, I know it because many people live there, but have never been there until now. Every time I go there, I'm invited, but in the end, there's no time. So, what about Karaj?
Karaj is exactly. I feel that it's the same way that like Amsterdam Noord is functioning for Amsterdam, because Karaj is where like it's a few kilometers away from Tehran.
An hour by bus or something?
Yeah, less
half an hour.
Yeah. But because the city expanded so much, everybody who wants to work in Tehran, they live in Karaj.
Yeah. But isn't Karaj more an upper class part of Tehran?
No,
it's not upper class.
It's a worker.
Really, worker class area.
Also, Parand area is doing the same, but now they have more like social housing.
Now it's a province for itself.
Yeah. We can leave our bags.
Ja. Dag Heidi.
Ah, ja, ik wil even mijn telefoon en een dit zijn.
Ja.
Hij doet wat? Nee?
Oh, 30 years or something.
Renovated.
Oh boy.
Ja, soms heel veel oliegeld hebben. Ja. En dan opeens zakt die olieprijs. Dus dan moeten we weer met allerlei dingen stoppen. Maar het is wel nog steeds een soort roepbaar, echt afgekeurde prestigeproject. Hij heeft ook een bak.
Ja. Baku.
Ja, Azerbeidzjan. Dus ja, het is. Maar zoals je man, inderdaad, er staat hier een groep hier gebouwd door Syrien Shah. Dat staat nu half jaar. Dat was de vorige keer nog niet. En die Eurogames. Hi.
Yeah. Sally Altunterim, journalist, commentator, football freak, just like Chris Keulemans. He works for the Dutch NTR Broadcasting. Is sometimes executive producer, sometimes as the head of the Half a Man program. He's done that for quite some years.
I'm a mannetje van alles. So
Mannetje van alles,
they
okay.
say it in Dutch.
Yeah.
I do everything. I make programs.
You are the first visitor of this place, basically. Huh?
Yes.
You are the first one who bought a house.
Yes.
It took some time before other residents came. This first period, you were only with a couple of people. Hè? Toch een aantal mensen en het was een soort kleine oase waar jullie in terechtkwamen.
Yes. Zal ik in Nederlands beginnen?
Doe maar Nederlands,
Then we try in Dutch. In English. Dit was een tuinhuizencomplex. Er was helemaal niks. It was green all over it. And it's now, I think, nearly 7 years ago that they started to build these buildings. We were the first inhabitants of this area, and in the first period that building with full of people, elderly people who are resting, taking their last time in their life, they were very, very upset because of those areas. But now we are big friends and we have good relations with them. I'm now living nearly 15 years in Amsterdam. This is the second hood I'm living on, and I'm very happy in Noord. I love Noord.
Why?
Noord has a soul. I love the soul of Noord, because Noord is in development. Noord is one of the areas in Amsterdam where the how do you say? It's a village in the city, so the soul of the city is kept well. You can taste it, and I hope with all those new inhabitants, this soul will be kept and will stay forever here.
Silly.
Oh, hi.
Hi. That's Sally's wife. That's your wife. Hello. Hey.
She's a bit shy.
She's a bit shy. You're basically also a symbol for the new multicultural Amsterdam, huh? You have a Turkish background. Your wife is Chinese, Indonesian?
She is Japanese,
Indonesian,
French, Swiss, and Moluccan.
And Amsterdam.
Yeah, real Amsterdam. Yeah.
And in the end, you're all both Amsterdammers. You're actually the new symbol of Amsterdam, basically.
Yeah, I got some discussion with my son. He's now 6 years ago. My golf isn't within this identity or something. But my boy is always asking to me, well, what am I? Am I Dutch? Am I Turkish? Am I Indonesian? Or you're from Amsterdam? He's a typical Amsterdam guy. So that's sometimes it's difficult to explain to him what he is actually.
And, tonight there's this big match,
Yes.
Turkey versus the Netherlands.
Yes.
I know you're a sports fan. I know you wanted to get tickets, but you couldn't get tickets.
No.
But you're going to watch the game for sure, huh?
Yes, I will.
Whose side are you going to choose?
It's difficult for me because I love Turkey, but I have a little bit difficult relation with Turkey because of the political situation in this country. When the situation is a little bit better, I love Turkey more. So at this time, the political issue is not so good. So tonight I'm for the Netherlands.
But do the Turks have a chance now? As football specialists, do they have a chance against Netherlands? Looking at their team.
You don't know. The Turks are unpredictable because you don't know well they can play football, but there is no organization, there is no philosophy. They do something, and I hope it will be a good match. But I think the Dutch they are very well organized, and I think I think they will win.
Okay, in the end they will win. Eh?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
It could be. We've talked about football also with Chris. Chris has been a passionate goalkeeper. I myself have been a good football player. No one knows that, but there was a time.
Surprise.
There was a time that I almost got selected to FC Twente, and that would have changed my life. But I fucked up because my father came to watch me, and during that game I couldn't do anything because I was too nervous that he was there. So I chose for a different career. Your children are also playing football, eh?
Yeah, my son.
Your son is playing football, and he goes to the team just close by, eh?
Yeah, but there's a team in the neighborhood. It's Buiksloot. Buiksloot is a very mixed club. No, it's what I want to do is in this neighborhood. It's the people who are living here are well educated, high educated people. But what they do, the most of the people, I think it's not good. They bring their children to the club 10 kilometers away to Durgedam. It's a very high educated white area, and the club is also very white. So I want to tell them that it's important to put their children also on this club, because it's good for a team. For example, in the team of my son, there is there's a Moroccan lady with a headscarf. There is a well-educated white guy from the center who's living now here. So there's some beautiful mix of people who are into each time in contact with each other. So I think it's very, very important that that kind of things, the social contacts in the neighborhoods will stay, and areas like this, that they have to integrate in the area, and they have to have compassion with Noord, and that's not easy to do, but you have to have some people in the area who are into this and wants to achieve this, and so I'm talking to my neighbors who have children who are growing up, to tell them that's important for the area, for the city, for the future, to put their children also on sport clubs like in the neighborhood, and not to exclusive clubs outside the neighborhood.
And if we look at connection with this area, you just mentioned the home for the elderly, that they were. Oh, look, they are waving. Oh, that's lovely. That they were first against this new development. Yes. Lots of people came in, and so. How do you connect if you come to a place as someone who doesn't originally?
We had in the beginning we had some arguing with those people who came, and they were complaining about we put some stuff in front of our house, and just be in contact. After a while we came in contact, and we invited them to come inside and drink some coffee, have a chat with them. And at the end, now we sometimes I'm doing now. Going to the shops and buy something for them, and they are coming with their family to us, and so there is a good connection. I think you have to be open, you have to invite, and you have to be willing to be in contact with the area, with the neighborhood, with the people. Where they are scared, they're old people, and they don't like changes. And if you talk to them, they love to come, and they're curious.
if they are scared, how do you take away, if people are scared, how do you take away that feeling? When I talked to you, you mentioned something about also compassionate, to be compassionate.
Yeah, you have to. I think you know. I'm not originally from Amsterdam Noord. I'm not originally from Amsterdam. I'm coming from the Zaanstreek. It's near here, and you know we are new here. We are how do you call? We are some kind of guest here, so we have to be in contact with them. We have to go to them and ask them to be in contact with them and ask them to come and make contact and know each other. So I think the people who are the new ones, they have to put more effort to integrate, to be in contact, to know the people from the area. I think that's the main thing in Amsterdam. It's you know it's getting more and more segregated, and when you see the city center, especially the city center, it's very uniform. It's like all the areas are the same. You have the same coffee companies, you have the same people, same dressing, everything is the same. So I think that the most beautiful thing of Amsterdam is the diversity, and we have to keep that, and we have to show love for the people who are making the city, and the city is not only the well-educated people. We have to show more love for the people who are not well educated or who are old, and that makes the city. This is my friend Miriam.
You've got a quite a famous neighbor, so we asked the neighbor also, Miriam Shahrawi,
Yeah, hello.
to join us.
I live around the corner.
Okay.
Yeah, Miriam is very well planned. Our children are
Growing up
together.
Playing football together.
Yes. And sometimes, how do you say, help us?
Well, we help each other. Yeah, we babysit.
Babysit, and the school here near the big building is the school of this neighborhood. So our children are going to the same school.
Yeah, around the corner.
Yeah.
Everything here
And
around the corner.
I convinced her to come and live here in this area. She's a bit angry at me.
In the beginning, because
What was the original idea you had from Noord?
Well, my husband works here for a long time, so I knew it a bit, but it was never a place where I wanted to live. I lived all around the city, east, west, the Pipe, well, other kinds of neighborhoods, and North was never an option for us. But then suddenly we had children and a small house, and we needed some more place, a room. So and then this came, and we were living in the same area in KNSM Island.
Yes.
Very nice area, but well, and then we just tried it. But it was really because my husband is working here at, around the corner. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have come to Amsterdam Noord.
Why not?
Because it was not something, you know. I live now 25 years in Amsterdam, and I never thought about Noord as a place to go to. I was more focused on other areas. It was not a place where you went to go out, or there. I mean, things are changing a lot, but for a long time it was far. I only went here for this, you know, these illegal rave parties. Yeah, we had a lot of illegal parties. That's true. Yeah.
Miriam, can I ask you something? You are a theater maker. You organize, you produce. You are one of the founders of the Zina platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And the Zina platform is quite a unique platform.
Yeah.
Consisting of a couple of really tough ladies. Yeah? Nazmia Oral is one of them. You are one of the founders. can you perhaps share something with us about the Zina platform philosophy?
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys doing? Because you break down all kinds of barriers.
Yeah.
Yeah, physical barriers, but also mental barriers in your work.
Well, it's nearly 10 years ago when we started with our work, and it was we knew each other from the theater field and we did I worked Adelheid Roos is a big theater maker here in the Netherlands, and I used to work with her in projects. But then we had Theo van Gogh. He was a big filmmaker, and he was killed by a fundamentalist, a Muslim fundamentalist, 10 years ago, I think. And then for us it was really a point in time, because then we felt like the city was changing. We felt like groups were not really, not listening anymore to each other. It was harsher, and we found it very important. We thought we have to do something to give the voices to people who are never heard in this city or in society, and to give them a stage. So we thought we don't want to make only theater or art in the in the places where they are always performed, but we want to go to areas where we can find people who want to tell us other kind of stories. So that's how we started to go into neighborhoods where a lot of immigrants are living, for example. We started working a lot in Amsterdam Nieuw-West, and that's how we started. So well, I can tell a lot about the work we are doing, but very shortly, it's about giving a platform to voices that are normally not heard in the debate or in the cultural landscape in the Netherlands. Yeah.
You talked with Sally about as a newcomer, you come to an area, and then you get in contact with with the community.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a role for artists to play a role to create that contact, to create a form of dialogue, and to add value in this way?
Yeah.
Can artists contribute in that way?
Of course. I think that artists can be, well, I hope that artists see it as one of an important thing in the way of work. But I don't say that every artist has to do it, but I think it's very important to look at society and to try to be a kind of bridge. And well, I think it can be very useful. For example, this area, maybe it's interesting to tell something about it, because I'm not working here, I just live here. Sometimes you have to not divide things in life. But in this area, actually, well, a very little example from this week. I help with the school paper of the school of my children, and not far away there is a daklozenopvang. Yeah. And when the homeless shelter, and when they came here a year ago, a lot of people in this neighborhood were not very fond of it. They were like, well, we don't want to have those people here in the neighborhood. We think it's dangerous for the children, and I was a bit shocked about, because we are, well, I mean, I in a way I understand that you can be afraid, but that you are really so negative about having other kind of people around you, people who are maybe not as lucky as we are in life, and saying, no, not in mine backyard. I think that's for me, it's shocking. I think it's really very important for our children to also see the other side of society, that, not everything is maakbaar. It's not everything is makeable in your hands. I mean, so we, myself and a colleague of mine of the school paper, we went with the children to the shelter, and it was really, I nearly have, again, tears in my eyes, because it was special to see how the children reacted and how they reacted on each other. And one of the guys said, "You know, we never see children here," and it's, you know, that's I'm just telling you this to give you a bit a sense in how new neighborhoods can be created and how people are not really making contact with each other. And it's really across the road. It's fair, and everybody bikes there, and that's how it goes, huh? And those people, I'm talking about my neighbors, and they're not bad people, but normally a lot of people think like that. They you know, that's how we live. And
so you have to take away also some part of fear for the other.
Yeah, and I also have fear. We all have fear, but I think that you can also make steps towards each other with fear. You know, embracing your fear and saying, "Okay, I'm afraid maybe of you. I don't know you, but I want to look you in the eye."
And Sally just said, be curious. You talk about compassionate. What would be your term if you would give us something? What can we use to bridge that gap?
Well,
the gap of fear. Is it curiosity?
It's just making the step. Just do it. Yeah, courage, but also with fear you can, you know, you don't be paralyzed by it, but, you know, do something or talk about it if you don't want to make the step, but do something, because we are all we are all fearful persons. I mean, it's in the men's, it's in humanity. So we shouldn't be ashamed of our fears. Otherwise, we will all be only living in our houses, you know, and afraid of each other. No.
Miriam, really lovely. Thank you that you wanted to join us. Besides fear, we also fear cold, so we're
you're going back to your bus.
We're back to
wow,
bus. But I know that
kan naar mijn kindjes
toe.
toe. Ze zitten alleen
kunnen
thuis.
mee.
Het is wat leuk om je te zien, joh. Lang geleden.
Ja, ik kom vaker in Noord tegenwoordig. Zoals nu.
Sally, you have to bring your children also to the grandmother. I would like to
thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye. Tot ziens.
Ja, Wat de uitslag?
Ik denk 2-1.
Nee, hij was voor Nederland.
Hi, very nice to meet you. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
check it out.
please,
Nice,
sure.
nice. Okay,
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Happy that you're going to have the warm bus?
Yeah, curator. You have a shaving curator here.
Kunt u de achterdeur openen?
Als je het niet The using has a lot of chili. The using has a lot of chili.
Yeah.
Mama. Alamit. Gezien, Pendar.
Hi.
He's a very good famous and artist and also curator, Iranian curator, and yeah. Yeah.
Marta?
Video?
She edited. Yeah, we transferred that file. So maybe later.
Welcome back. Welcome back in the bus. I hope you enjoyed our talks with the residents from Elsenhagen, our friends. They contribute in their own way to the social environment, and I really liked that they wanted to share their stories with us. We will travel now to the Zonneplein, and Marta Pisco is right next to me. Marta Pisco is an artist I've learned now already 5-6 years ago when I was working at the Mondrian Fund, or the Fund for Visual Arts, and Marta was busy with her Green Monster project. And she will later on at the Zonneplein, I will interview her about the project, but before we do that, we are going to watch a video she made on her project. Marta, the video, we can just watch it, we don't have to, or do you want to comment on the video before we show it?
Well, there is a voiceover. I don't know if you can hear it, but I think the most important is that you just watch the images, because I think it communicates enough.
Yeah, we're going to watch the images of the Green Monster project. The project started off in Beirut.
No, in Aleppo.
In Aleppo, and then traveled to Beirut, and then traveled to Amsterdam North. Yeah. And let's just watch the video while we're going to the Zonneplein, and then we will talk about it. Today we will be back at the Tolhuistuin just before 6 o'clock. So, and we will have a few stops after that, but if you have any meetings, so we will be busy until 6 o'clock.
Ja.
Ja. Moet je de microfoon aan?
Moet de tv aan? Het gaat automatisch.
My name is Marta. I am an intruder, a stranger. In a city, I choose specific locations. I walk while being filmed. I look for people's reactions to the other. I want to be close. I want to belong.
Misschien moeten wij de tv aanzetten?
Ja, maar anders heb je helemaal niks doen.
Oh, het is zwart.
Het scherm is zwart.
I am silent. I give up spoken communication.
Misschien moeten wij de laatste begin doen. Het is nog geen beeld.
Nee. Dus hier video, en dan moet het gewoon hebben. Maar worden je geen beeld krijgt, mag het doen, dan wordt het niet. 2, 2, 7.
Jullie samen bezig.
Nee. Er staat toch een bus achter me zitten. Dus die video.
Zet je de video uit, die DVD uit?
Dat is gebeurd.
Nee.
Maar je wel een beetje balen dat ik niet in je ogen kan kijken zo. Ik vind dat ik geen boek kan, maar zo wil ik het ook niet.
Wat doet hij nou dan? Hebben jullie beeld wel achter? Nee, ook niet, hè?
Ja, natuurlijk. Ja.
Ja. Weet je wat het was? Ja, wonen jullie in Noord?
We wonen niet in Noord. Nee.
Waar dan?
We komen uit het oosten.
Oost, Amsterdam-Oost.
Ja. Amsterdam-Oost.
My name
Ja.
is Martin.
Ja.
I am an intruder, a
Dus we zijn nu een
stranger.
beetje toeristen in eigen stad.
In a setting, I choose specific locations.
We gaan zo meteen weer
I walk while being filmed. I look for people's reactions to the other. I want to be close. I want to be loved.
Gekke dingen zijn dit.
I am sorry. I give up spoken communication in its misunderstandings.
one of the wires must be used.
Yeah.
Bij de ogen. Maar je moet wel een beetje balen dat je in je ogen kan kijken zo.
Dit is de zonnepaneel? Het lijkt echt op een zon. Dit is de kindermonster.
Ja, dat zal hem ook echt spot in.
Maar even terug met onze interview.
Waar waren we?
Waar waren we? Ja, jullie wonen in Oost, toch? Komen jullie ooit naar Noord?
We komen zelden naar Noord. Veel te weinig naar Noord. Ja. Ja.
En ook gewoon niet bij de AI of Tolhuis staan?
Ja, dat tot zover komen.
Tot zover komen, ja?
Ja.
Dat is volgens mij ook omdat er gewoon niet zoveel te doen is.
Nou ja, als we er zo rondrijden in Noord, dan komen we er toch achter dat er eigenlijk veel meer is dan wij denken. Dus wat dat betreft.
Ja? Wat we net zagen was niet een plek waar je dan naartoe zou gaan.
Nee, daar misschien niet. Nee, maar net onderweg zagen we wel wat leuke plekjes, cafeetjes en. Ja, Noord staat. Ja, ik weet ook gewoon niet genoeg over Noord. En je blijft toch heel snel in je eigen buurt plakken. Ja.
Maar ook gewoon je kennis en zo, dat wonen ook niet in Noord. Dat je op zoek komt.
Ja, je kent wel wat mensen in Noord.
Ja, er wonen wel wat mensen en ik zie dat het scherm het ook niet is.
Sorry?
Oh, nou niet meer. Nee, ik zat even weer naar het scherm te kijken, maar nu valt het weer uit. Nee. Het ligt er een beetje aan, maar wij wonen sowieso nog niet zo lang in Amsterdam.
Oké.
Dus we kennen überhaupt weinig mensen in Amsterdam.
Hoe lang wonen jullie in Amsterdam?
Halfjaartje.
Halfjaartje?
Ja, dus dat is nog helemaal niet lang.
En daarvoor?
Utrecht.
Utrecht?
Ja.
Dat is echt een studentenstad, hè?
Ja, klopt wel. Ja.
En Amsterdam ook?
Nee.
Minder?
Ja.
Jullie studeerden ook in Utrecht?
Ja, wij studeerden in Utrecht en dan nu in Amsterdam, maar Amsterdam is veel diverser.
Ja? Is dat een leukere stad als je
Als je wat verder komt, als je niet meer in je bachelor zit, dan vind ik het prettiger om naar Amsterdam te komen. Maar ja, meer te doen is een cultuurgebied, meer diversiteit, veel verschillende mensen.
Doen jullie zelf ook iets met cultuur?
Ja, ik studeer Urban Studies.
Oké.
Ja,
dus daarom ga je gewoon ook verhuizen omdat er meer cultuur is.
Ja, hier is veel meer te doen, veel meer te zien. Eigenlijk heel veel dingen, die gebeuren gewoon
As I
hier.
walk to west of the north, an ordinary, everyday environment, I realize how sharp things become.
Soms denk ik dat zij aan het praten is, maar het is de DVD. Ik ben best in de war.
Jij zo bij betrokken?
Oh, ik neem gewoon deel aan het project. En dit project had zij eerst, Elham was de co-curator van het Vreemde Frame voor de laatste deel van de tentoonstelling, Crisis of History heet het. Maar ze wou ook nog een ander project doen. Dat heeft ze eerst in het Koerdische gedeelte van Iran gedaan. Daar hadden ze dus een bus gehuurd. En die bus die lijkt gewoon op publieke bus. Dus dan als mensen zeg maar aan het wachten zijn voor de bus, dan weten ze niet dat dat zeg maar een andere bus is. En dan stappen ze gewoon in. Maar daar hadden ze dus met andere kunstenaars samengewerkt om de bus helemaal anders te inrichten en helemaal met foto's bewerken en dat soort. Is dat begonnen? Gaan we het bekijken en dan komen we weer terug. Ja? Kijk, mensen, dat is een presentatie. Dit was de presentatie.
Nee, maar mag er wel één. Ja, kijk er gewoon één.
Dit is de grondmonster.
Ja, rustig.
Ja,
Kies er één die hij mag.
Oké.
die loopt.
En dat proberen we nu af te spelen.
Ja, dat proberen wij nu af te spelen, maar die camera, ja, de monitor wil niet meewerken.
Ja. Maar kan je misschien voor mensen die livestream aan het kijken zijn...
Kom het vertellen.
Ja. Ja? Oké, we gaan het zo doen.
Try again. Oh, goed.
Kijk, op de ouderwetse manier, hè? Hij doet het altijd. Hij doet het niet.
Children in general, I in general love children. We ask nothing from each other. But I also play with the adults.
We have reached the Zonneplein. We will go out to visit the Zonneplein for a few minutes.
Where is it? Zonneplein. Waar is Zonneplein? In memory of Zonneplein. Is dit de Zonneplein? Dit is de Zonneplein.
Het is één van de op 4 panden.
Ja.
Op 2 krantjes.
Ze lieten ook soms totdat je echt weg zag.
Ja, en ik heb het heel goed geregeld.
Oh, ja.
Want ze hebben dit huis gemaakt. En nou, was het spannend.
Koffie zou leuk zijn. Dat is zo'n koffie hadden. Dus.
Ja, dat zijn dus beelden. Het weg.
Oh, het was wel een beetje. Also because of the urban looks of the city. Yeah. They comment about that. Yeah. No, well, last part is the architect.
You have to know everything, yeah? Because you're the architect. Nee, alle. همجور باید تعریف کنید دیگه باید خود بگو بگو آره این ساخته باره حساب مثلا 25 ساخته
مشغول از من سوال کنن
تعریف کنید دیگه یکی نمیتونم ویکیپیدیا نگاه کنن دارم بگن نه تو اشتباه گفته اینا رو قبل از جنگ جهانی دوم ساختن
همیشه میگن
یه سری یهودی آره یه سری یهودی بودن که نه اینا نمیشنن به صورت
نه اینا داره از صورت آنلاین پخش میشه مگه نه
آره
مگه سه آدم فارسی زبان ممکن بشنم چون و خیلی خنده دار میشه
آمستردام نورد کجا یهودی ها اومدن اینجا نشستن بعد از جنگ جهانی دوم بعد یه جایی بود که چون همه جنگل و منگل بود نمیتونستم پیداشون بکنم
بعد روز که محمد رضا شاه محمد رضا چه قلعه داشته قلعه سوره های
تاریخ ایران رو میدونم وایس اوورش نورد تاریخ ایران
امارات
Dit is na oorlogs. Dit is na de Tweede Wereldoorlog. Ja. Dus, dit is allemaal gebouwd ook voor de arbeiders. En gedachten vanuit de verheffing ook. Dus,
zou je hier kunnen wonen?
Zeker.
Ja? Ja. Vind je het mooi gedeelte?
Ja,
ja?
Absoluut. Mooie architectuur. Lekker rustig, weinig verkeer.
Ja, leuk voor de kinderen.
Mooi voor de kinderen. Mooi besloten wijkje en alle grote verkeer wordt eromheen geleid. Dus het is volgens mij goed over nagedacht.
Ja. En dat is de zonnehuis. Dat is wel een gezellig plein, hè?
Met dit weer.
Met dit weer niet. Hè?
Niemand op straat.
De potentie heeft hij wel.
Het is zondag, hè? Nee, het is niet
nee,
zondag.
zaterdag.
Het is zaterdag. Ja, nee, dan is het, mag er wel wat meer leven zijn.
Ja, vind ik ook. Maar
het voelt als zondag.
Het voelt als zondag.
Het voelt als zondag hier. Elke dag zondag.
Het is elke dag zondag op zonnehuis.
Iranian musicians also arrive at the Zonnehuis.
Oh, here is the party tonight.
Yeah.
This is it?
This is it.
Party.
Noord's party, yeah.
You're going to Noord's party.
Of course I'm going to Noord's party. I'm going to dance.
Voice over.
In Turkey everywhere?
They celebrate it. Mostly Kurds. My grandmother is Kurdish Persian. Kurdish from Iran, from Khorasan.
Khorasan.
That's what you said.
Yeah, she's from Khorasan.
Khorasan.
Khorasan, but Kurdish?
Yeah.
They have Kurdish, I think, but it's really a minority.
They have Kurdish and Kurd.
Yeah, they have Kurdish.
Khorasan?
Yeah. Oh, let's go inside.
No,
It's so cold. It is. We're not supposed to be here.
Als we gewoon even in de hal kunnen. Ja, ik ga het vragen.
Ja, zeker.
Perhaps, before we get inside, perhaps you can gather here at the square. Chris is going to ask if we can get inside. But Martha, this is one of the scenes that was actually in the film, because this is the part where you sit on the bench, and then you're approached by people. You just sit there.
Yes. So this is the first scene of the film.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on that bench there, and then you see, I just sit and wait, and then after a while children come to me, and they just take me by the hand, and we go in every shop here, meeting people, adults, and they introduce me as their brother.
As their brother, because
slowly they they really don't, like one of the oldest child says, it is a commercial, but the other smaller ones, they don't even think about it, they just go. And then they go from shop to shop, and as they're walking, the story is growing. So first I'm a guy, I am somebody's brother, I had too much lemonade. That's why I lost my voice. I can't talk.
Yes,
So they really
they
make.
gave you lemonade.
No. They because I don't talk, so they find a
They
justification.
interpreted it.
Yes, completely,
They
with no
interpreted themselves.
hesitation. So by the end, I'm walking in this street, and I have a family already. I have a sister. I have I don't know. There's all kinds of. There's a whole story about me, about the monster. So they do a very childlike action, very active, and not really wondering at all who I am. That's not really important.
It's not important.
So they take me and they give me a home. So that was exactly what I wanted as a green monster, to belong. And this was like a perfect example. Of course,
let me interrupt you for a minute. We can go inside. It's warmer.
Yeah, let me go inside. But have you guys all seen the architecture? And it's beautiful. It's
I'll tell you more about
it. Look how happy she is. You can go inside.
I'm so happy.
بابا یه جعبه براتون می‌آوردم می‌ذاشتم تو جعبه بخاری هم می‌ذاشتم تو بخاری چوبی یه سوراخ هم برای چشات درست کردم Wow.
Oh, what a beautiful place.
Let me. So tonight will be the Noord party over here.
Yeah. We're in the famous and beautiful Zonnehuis. This was built in the 30s as a community theater for this neighborhood. And this whole neighborhood, as Tom said, is very typical architecture. This was built especially for the workers in the dockyards. The dockyards at the NDSM just down the road. And all the workers with their families lived here. So the dockyard, the shipyard company and the municipality took care to create, for that time, very comfortable housing for families. So everybody had their own bathroom, everybody had their own little garden, and that's how they built the whole neighborhood. And then of course it needed a community theater, and that's right here. It's a fantastic place. And tonight there's going to be the annual Iranian New Year party, Nowruz, organized by the lady with the blonde curls, Shanaz Shabazi, who's been living in Amsterdam Noord for the last 30 years. She's a beautiful lady, and she throws this huge party every year. So I'm going to go here tonight, and anybody who's curious to see Iranian style party, you're very welcome. So, and I thought it's a warm place for you to tell the story about the green monster.
Yes.
But maybe we should stay here not to interrupt.
Yes.
You can yeah. And,
What is that?
That's the head.
That's the head.
That's the head of the monster.
I think people want to have a look inside, so we check it out and then we can get back here.
Fantastisch.
Mooi, hè?
Can you tell a bit more about the community theatre element? This whole idea of having a theatre for a community which has actually not a historical connection with theatre and art. Yeah. Because it comes out of a belief also, yeah? To have a community theatre. It also has to deal with...
Has anybody else been here before? So in the 30s, this was basically social democrat neighborhood with a very strong communist community as well. And the social democrat government believed that people should work hard, be decent citizens, pay their taxes, raise a good family, but they also should develop themselves as healthy citizens through participating in the arts. So back then the ideology was really to raise the civilization of people by having them included in the arts. So singing in the choir, making music in the marching band, playing theater in the old classical repertoire, painting, decorating. So the arts was really seen as a tool to how do you say, to grow into a decent citizen. It was very much instrumentalized art.
And the government was the sponsor of this. The government was in favor to enlighten people, to make them develop into cultural citizens. And one of the reasons that the government is still supporting the arts comes out of this philosophy.
Still, I mean, it's gone through a lot of ups and downs, but still. And this whole place is actually a kind of symbol of that, because you can see in the middle of this small-scale neighborhood, this is a relatively grand building. So it was really designed like this and built like this to boost the pride of the community. Here, when they came together, either for children's musical presentations or for the labor union meetings, this place was meant to get the whole community together and to build that sense of unity. Of course, there's been many places like this all over Amsterdam and all over the country, but many of them have been torn down or transformed into different places. This one also threatened, was almost out of business, almost extinct. For decades, this place was basically used for either kickbox gala matches or the regular meetings of the local taxi drivers, who were united in a very strong union which had ties with the criminal underworld, and they would meet here. So for a long time this place was actually pretty shady and pretty suspect, and it's only since 3-4 years that it's coming back to life. Now there's young artists living and working in the neighborhood as well, and suddenly you get phenomena like the Green Monster walking around in this neighborhood. The Green Monster was one of the first, but after that a lot of initiatives have been organized here, and I organized the opening night of the Winters Binnen Festival here in December, which is great because then you see the old-fashioned community, the old people from the neighborhood, but also the new artsy types like us. It mixes and it works. And I think tonight's going to be a night like that as well. Very crazy mix of people, but all in the most, open and warm and civilized way.
Chris, if we look at these projects, Marta, is someone calling you? Oh, no. You have met up.
Talk about the Green Monster.
Yeah, you have met up with Marta as well. She did a project. I want to talk a bit about the project.
Czemu? A też jest.
Marta, we started off on the Zonneplein, and you explained how these children saw you as an ultimate gift from above for their own fantasies. You became their friend immediately. They introduced you to all the spots as their newfound friend, even though you haven't talked with them. They didn't know if you were a girl or a boy. You had no language. They make you part of their own life, and basically also give you a home in this place. Huh?
Yeah.
It was one of the first places that you were invited.
Yeah.
During that project, you went in search for belonging. You went in search for perhaps a place to call your own. Can you tell me about why did that search occur? Why?
In Amsterdam Noord.
No, the first moment in general that you started to go in that search. What were you looking for?
This project of Amsterdam Noord came in a moment when I was already in Holland for 7 years, and it got a different. Let's say it went. It became much more about me and what am I searching for. And the monster, which was always me, became like an extended version of myself. And being a foreigner living in the Netherlands, in Holland, I tried to explore that side of the foreigner in myself, because I tend to learn the language and to adapt the codes and to very quickly adapt. But then it was also always some part of me who was really not fitting. So I tried to use that as a performer. I tried to use that to build my character. And what was interesting is that, like, the children came and they take me, they give me a home, and they introduce me to all the adults that are in the shops. And then it's a very different story when it comes to adults.
Yeah, the children were quite small.
They are small, but they are also much more. And they want to know who's inside the costume and what is it for. It has to have a meaning. It has to have an explanation. And for children, it's not necessary.
No.
It starts with my experience with this costume and this monster is after 12, 13 years old, they go berserk with it. They have to touch it and grab it. Until 12, children can really relate with no problem. But as soon as puberty comes and adults really need to know more about it. But that's much more interesting for a performance.
Before they connect.
Yes. And sometimes they just give in. They stop wanting to understand, and I get people making confessions to me. Sometimes really heartbreaking people, because I sit alone in a chair and somebody comes and says, "Oh, I'm also alone." Or people try to share their lunch with me, and
so they give you food.
They give me food, yeah. So it's very. I'm provoking people into a response. But actually, I'm exposing myself a lot in this process because I can't reply, I can't say anything. I have to use, and I don't have eye. I mean, the eyes don't work. It's just, I'll show you. So one thinks that one is protected by this, but actually you're much more vulnerable because you can't do anything like a normal human being. So I don't know if somebody would like to put it on.
We have a volunteer here.
So anyway, you can see from the mouth here, but the eyes are not working. So this is so important for communication, even when you put it on.
Yeah, why not?
Go on.
Dance.
Ik moet jou een foto van jou neem jezelf.
Actually, when you're wearing it, you are more comfortable than you think, because it protects you, but it also takes away all the humanity in you. So you just have this friendly face, but you can't do much about it. And yeah, so what people do when they meet me, they they grab my hand and they start like, is this a man, is this a woman? You know, like feeling the bones. And they really go to like, do you have breasts? Are you? It's a man, there's no breasts because I had this hard thing on. And so, yeah, so how does it feel, Osman, to be inside?
But I really can't see far.
You can't see far, no, that's true. You can only see like, yeah. You see legs, but you don't see. You don't see now. I mean, you have to lift your head a bit, then you see. But you have to do it discreetly. Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to dance also.
No, actually, there's a very funny story behind it. When I was so and then I thought I like to come back to this country when I was in Syria, and in a way that they don't know I'm a woman and that I'm a Western woman.
No, but I mean, why did you choose for such a specific image of like a...
Well, I make drawings. It's also a funny story because in my family it's very normal to call each other monster, like for fun, as a sweet name. I realized that it's not in every family like that. And then I thought I want like a human figure, but not with a tail or with animals, you know, like with nothing. Something that is the best on people, like a smile, a big butt, soft skin. So everything together in one sort of teddy bear somehow. So something really, really harmless, but then without any code, without any... Something inviting, something open, but also that you can't place, because it's not a Muppet, it's not a Teletubby, it's not it's something in between from this universe of childhood. And my idea was to walk in the streets without being recognized as myself and try to be something else. And the fact that the children, you know, the children are really easy with it, that's also a good entry point sometimes to go to the adults, but it's not a product for children. It's a product for the child in you. But the children are many times a very easy, natural partner. So they are performing with me. They really don't need any explanation.
Like that just kind of like being sort of guidance for you.
Yeah.
Interact with others.
Yeah. And also, so it was not in the beginning, not at all about children. It was about me wanting to go back to Syria without being recognized as a Western woman. And what is funny is that even in Amsterdam Noord, people kept on asking, are you a man or are you a woman? They really needed to know it. It still was a very important part of the process, which I find very interesting. Like, why is it so important?
Yeah.
So it started out as this sort of an action that I went back and then I did it in Syria. It was about men and women, this issue. Being a woman, what is being a man? Then I did it in Beirut. And then I had to look for a different reason because in Beirut it was not so, for me personally, it's not so different. Oscar keeps on walking. This question, men, women, was not so relevant there. So I did it about, I went for religions, like testing which religion will take me, because I have Lebanese friends and I realized all of them have to have a religion in their birth certificate. That was really like, what? And so I walked in all neighborhoods, and then but basically what happened, which is really like very suitable for the region because we're in the biblical region, you know. So what happened? The poor people accept the monster, the rich people are afraid of it. So like you know, really like Old Testament scene, you know, like or. So it was very funny because it didn't have anything to do with Christianity or being from Islam or whatever religion. It was poor people who were open and they offered me food all the time. It's like I could not walk with fruit and all kinds of things. And the rich people were behind bars and behind gates, and I would only talk with the portier, you know, the person guarding the door, or the people working in a cafe. The rich areas were very afraid. So it was really like if you have a lot, you're afraid to lose it. If you have nothing, you're giving what you have.
Like they don't want any trouble in the safe place or something like. Like would they see you as some kind of a troublemaker?
They were suspicious. They were really like yeah.
But the fact that you don't speak also is something like an offensive gesture, right? I mean, sometimes they get afraid of this, right? That you don't communicate.
Yeah.
Why is this in my face?
Then it's about communicating in other ways and without voice. In the beginning was really a practical reason. If I talk, they see I'm a woman, so I can't talk. That was, and then it became much. You get much more because people feel it in. And then in Amsterdam Noord, it became really like a personal search about me. So I have the costume here because you see you get really nice when you wear the costume. All the best in you comes out. But I told those kind of we thought maybe it'd be nice So I was doing this in Beirut for 39 degrees. But actually, after you start worrying about the sweat, it's okay.
Next time I'll wear it to my talk with the minister. I've got a meeting next week. Minister for Culture and I will wear it.
You can. I took it to a talk in the palace.
Okay, that's good.
It worked. They gave me the money.
That's very good.
So I have the costume, and I don't know if anybody would like to try it on because it's very strange to be inside this costume. It's very nice and warm. It's very clean. No worry.
I like to, but I have a cool I hear and
kids have no problem at all. And when it came to Amsterdam Noord, it was also like, what is this neighborhood that is so rough? You know, all these stories like, oh, it's really bad there and dangerous. And so I walked in I think I walked in 10 or 11 neighborhoods. And I chose some for the, and of course it's very different when Muslims people are very used to sort of things. It's not a new thing. It's not like, but it was very interesting because it had a lot to do with the loneliness, and it came a lot of this. So yeah.
And you found also all kinds of emotions. There's sometimes sympathy, friendship.
People hit me sometimes.
People sometimes hit you because they were angry.
They really think, what the hell? Who are you? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Why don't you talk?
And did you find, in relationship did you also find love? Did people love you?
For sure. It's really, I mean, maybe if you like, we can run the film. If you look at people's eyes sometimes, looking at me, there's so much kindness. And there was physical love, really hugging, and but also from adults. And then I got also very nice conversations. I mean, monologues, because I'm not talking back.
Yeah.
And
so
yeah, I definitely got love, for sure.
But if we want to find love, we don't need a language. Basically, to love, you don't need
You need
have a common
a
language.
big head, a big butt, and
Big head and big butt. Because I'm trying to collect tips on how to find love. So we need a big head, a big butt.
No, I'm joking. Of course, I don't know. I think it's about being open. What was very difficult for me in this project and in this performance is to stay open, to stay. Oh, maybe.
We stop everything, she's out of charge. So now we can relax, we can be normal. We don't have to pretend anymore, so we're out of charge. Okay. No.
So, and then, yeah, I definitely found love, that's for sure. Is it
Okay.
I don't know, do you want to know anything else? You want to try it, huh?
I'm just wondering about the feeling that you will have when you learn, in terms of nobody knows who you are, so you are always behind the layer of protection. I'm just trying to find out how does it.
It's a sort of, well, it is. You go into performance mode. Let's say it's not like you. Otherwise, it's very difficult.
Zal ik hem eens aanzetten? En hem aandoen.
Ja. Kas is.
Ik wil hem even aan.
Ja?
Moet je schoen uit?
Ja, maar je bent wel een beetje lang.
1,78.
Ja, het wordt heel groot in je benen. Je kunt het wel proberen. Nee. Je kunt het proberen, maar je moet je schoenen aan. Maar die schoenen zijn 39. Gaat met een meisje. Die shoes are 39. Mami is echt lang.
Nee, mami is echt lang. Zij zou er wel in kunnen. Zij zou er heel goed in kunnen.
Of you, do you want to try it?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Because everybody's very, everybody's.
Why?
Because you have to wear the
Yeah, thanks.
We will go to the Lovers Lane. I don't know.
Maybe she can walk in the Lovers Lane.
It takes like 5 minutes. Please. Yeah? You have to walk in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Okay, you want to go now? So I should wear it now? And shall she wear it now? Is it close by?
Yeah, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay.
I should take out the shoes or not?
Yeah.
Shopping.
First we do this.
This is the back. Yeah, I'm too small for this.
No, it's okay, don't worry. It's in fit. It's just you need to sit fully. I mean, I was 5 months pregnant when I wear this for the first time. So I don't need anybody.
Can dance with this.
Very funny way to violate.
Yeah, everybody tells me.
Hands. Very funny way. Okay, you can put his hands.
I got some here.
But you need the neck. So cool.
Yeah. You won't get cold. It's just the reason I'm wearing this is okay, I need to plug it in warmer.
Wait, now. You understand how to look?
Yeah.
Wait. I normally had a microphone, so I could record that you would tell me. Shall I walk with you? You just see it like this. I think that's Christians here.
Hoş var det. Tycker med. میتونی جلوس ببینی نیفتی ابتدا
You can't speak. The mute costume. Oh, I forgot to say something. Right. So, just one last thing. So, when I did this project in every city I did it, there would be a rough cut of the images and a discussion with the audience. And on this day, I would invite everybody that would be participating in the film and just show rough cut. And I would have a discussion about community. That was always about the stranger, who belongs, who doesn't. And then I would give away, before people come in, I will give away these little buttons. I don't know if I have enough. I just grabbed some. And everybody had to wear one. So by the moment, before they knew it, they belonged to the community already. So it was very funny also to look around, and everybody was having different ideas, but everybody had joined the club. So I don't know if you like to have one. And I don't know. I don't think I have enough because I just used. So then you can, if you can put it on your jacket, then you belong to the club. What are you doing there? Three?
Ja, ik heb er nog wel een paar.
Maar misschien kun je aan hem geven. You probably have some. So this was like how the okay. So after 1 week of shooting, I would have a little show, and everybody would be a monster themselves. Yeah, exactly. And that was particularly funny, for instance, in Beirut, where it was about religious groups, who belongs, who doesn't, and so suddenly we had a new religion. We could put it on the passport also. Yeah, I'm from the Green Monster group. So how does it feel? Indeed, you're a bit small. I mean, you're the right height.
Let's go to the boss.
Raar. Als je met een groene mond zo hebt, hoor. Dat is raar.
It's really funny because it doesn't really matter what's inside. And then when you do it a few times, you start getting a sort of feeling what you like to do.
Say hi. Nein, çizmişe.
Girl, there's no food. I just know that.
Rusland.
You managed?
Nobody ever have tried to put it on fire.
کجا گرفتن چی شد اصلا اینجوری بگیم یه لحظه دیگه Gewoon naar zo'n... Nee, dat was allemaal zo. Miofte?
Are you warming up?
Ja, misdag.
So what's the plan?
Looking at you.
We're going to the exhibition.
But you should not talk, you know? So what I did, I always copy what people do. I do nothing. But when they do something to me, I do the same. It's very fun. Hello.
Do you ever have to talk? Like something special happened that you
I
have
always
to
had
talk?
a person with me, like
The-
the camera people or one extra person, especially in cities like Beirut and Vel, that would take care of me a bit. And sometimes.
Are we also visiting Good Respect Bar?
I don't know. Yes, I did, because there was a time. There was one time I filmed I filmed in Aleppo, and then my cameraman was on the very tall building filming, and I came out of the hotel and did a tour, and I was alone. And you know, it didn't really make a big difference because after like a few minutes, people forget the camera. But my question was, I have to be honest about filming them. You know, they have to see there's a camera, and it's not like a hidden camera somewhere. What happened is that sometimes the camera would also give people more courage, you know, to talk, or if they're being filmed, they feel a bit more, especially in Amsterdam, here in Amsterdam Noord, some people are really playing for the camera. That's also funny, like, why are you doing that? But, so the camera was always close by, you would always see it was being filmed. For what, it was not clear. But I don't think it made a big difference in people's behavior. It's maybe in the beginning you choose to be or not to be in the image, and then I thought of that. Shall I hide the camera? Shall I have just this candid camera thing, you know, like catching people in funny...
When somebody's filming, it means that there's something special happening that's being documented for a reason. And maybe it's going to be, you know, there are two people involved, let's say. Because the cameraman is a person. And I'm thinking, what will happen if you don't have the cameraman? And what will it make any difference with people's reaction?
A few times that the camera was not visible, it didn't really make a big difference. But I didn't go very far.
Now,
I was also a bit...
let me be the guide for the last part of this trip. I think we should be back at Tolhuistaan in about 30-40 minutes. And there'll be drinks and food there, I guess. This is actually a beautiful day to talk about love in Noord, because it's grey and we've seen a lot of completely anonymous looking high-rises, on the surface unattractive buildings and neighborhoods. We've seen this special place, Zonnehuis, and we've seen the Green Monster, and the Green Monster is always good to warm your hearts. But I would like to show you how in the middle of this very grey Saturday afternoon Noord neighborhood, there are always traces of love. There are always traces of human warmth. To begin with, our driver Theo will find the tourist way to our destination, which is a beautiful old school, typically Dutch dike along the river and the meadows. I hope we're going to find that one. Yeah. And I was struck actually by Sally, who we met in Elsenhagen, the Turkish guy, because Özkan asked him what is so special about Noord, and he said Noord has a soul. And I think that's true. I've been living here now for 8 years, and that's exactly why I love the place so much. In the middle of all this nondescript, in the middle of all this nondescript grey urban zones, there is this soul, and it's because of people, of course. It's also because you find unexpected places of beauty and elegance in the middle of all of this. And if the weather wasn't so cold, and if we didn't have to hurry up a little bit, I would have taken you around the corner here by foot to see the Lovers Lane of this part of Noord. There is one Lovers Lane. It's a beautiful small walking path with high old trees, and that is where the lovers find each other. One of the most beautiful love stories in this part of town is the one between Martin and Marion. I've been seeing these people over the past years. Martin is about 75. He was one of the old dock workers at the NDSM dockyard. He's proud of what he's done over his life. Now, of course, he's retired. And wherever he goes, he shows up at all kinds of meetings and parties. Wherever he goes, he has his wife Marion at his side. And after a while, I started to get to know them better. Marion is a stylish woman, about 65, beautiful white hair, always elegantly dressed, with red nail polish and beautiful necklaces and earrings. And I asked them, how come you're always so close and so warm and so loving towards each other? Because I wasn't used to that from people at that age. And then they told me that they had actually met just a few years ago. Both of them were widowers, and at a high age they had fallen in love. So this old dock worker and this former wife of the most well-known rock journalist in Holland had met each other and fallen in love. Beautiful couple. And the last time I saw them, while we're trying to maneuver here through one of the older parts of Noord, the last time I saw them, Marion was wearing her arm in, how do you call it, a brace. She had broken her arm. So I went up to them and I asked, wow, what happened to you, Marion? Did you have an accident? Did you fall down? And she was blushing. And Martin, this big, huge old dock worker, was standing next to her, sheepishly laughing. And then she confessed, well, a couple of nights ago, things got a little bit wild in our bed. And I fell out of bed because Martin was so excited about me. And she was actually proud of having broken her arm making love to this 75-year-old dock worker. Those are the people that make life in Noord a loving experience.
Hier komen we aan het begin van de dijk. Het zit hier, hè?
Hier mag ik niet in.
Oké, daarom ga ik
Nee, daar kan ik wel op.
Je ziet ik wel die lobby. Kan je die dijk willen? Allemaal spreken is wel op.
Dan kom je een stukje moet je helemaal om.
Ja, dan moet ik echt gewoon zo.
Nee, dat is zo. Nee, zo.
Even kijken, dan kun je beter slot van mij hoor, dat stuk. En dan,
nee, maar dit
heeft geen zin. Dan kun je beter zo. Ja, rechtsom. Terug naar de Flora. Ik wil even naar het gasveldje in het midden van Flora door. Aan de Buitsloterdijk. Weet je dat? Aan de Floraweg. Ja. Oh, wat ik was hier kerstboom gebroken.
Ja, stel. Ja. Die kan je ook vinden, toch?
Ja, de kerstboom.
Okay, on the other side of the canal here, you can see the old houses, because Noord, of course, used to be about 7 smaller villages, and all of them were united slowly but surely into one urban neighborhood. We're going now to the spot where Noord had its own Romeo and Juliet story. So the classic love story between the son of from a lower class fell in love with the daughter of an upper class family, and this happened in real life in Noord in 1972. Because Noord is divided into such different neighborhoods, really working class neighborhoods and a few very wealthy neighborhoods. Of course, we have a tradition of love stories going across class boundaries. And traditionally, especially a few decades ago, this was actually taboo. You could fall in love with somebody from another social class, but you could never actually do it with somebody from another social class. But these Romeo and Juliet in 1972, they actually did it. And when we get there, you'll see the gap between their circumstances.
En ik ook. Oh, jij toch? Ook jij toch?
Ja, en ik ook. Kijk maar.
Wij zijn allemaal van de Groene Monster.
Ja.
Ik kan niet meer weg. Dag bij
Oh, gaat helemaal onderuit.
Oh, dan gaat dit zo.
Ja, dat is zo.
Dat is ook zo'n grens, hè, Chris, tussen de woningen die hier links staan en
Here again, we're heading right towards the old dockyards. On the right, we still see the old working class neighborhood, and we just passed on our left-hand side to one of those new neighborhoods, like Elsenhagen, built especially for younger, well-to-do parents with their kids.
helemaal net goed. Dit is toch Atatürk of niet?
Ja. Hier zo.
Zou jij iets
Here's the small monument on your right, the white monument. It's the Atatürk monument. Called, of course, for the legendary founder of the Turkish Republic. It's called like that because the dockyards in the 70s, they needed new workers, and they found them in Turkey. So a lot of the young Turkish guys were taken from the Turkish countryside and dropped here. And at the place of that monument used to be a residential camp, how do you say, barracks camp for the Turkish workers here at the dockyards. And a few years ago we had this exhibition in the Amsterdam Museum of the Turkish pioneers, the first Turkish Gastarbeiter, the guest workers. Back in the days, in the 60s and 70s, these were really, really cool guys. Handsome young Turkish men in bell-bottom jeans and long hair. And from the stories I've heard, these guys had a huge impact on the romantic dynamics of this neighborhood.
Were they happy with these guys?
Yes. These guys were welcome, they were necessary, and they were actually very quickly respected because they worked hard, they didn't complain, they were cheerful, they picked up the work easily, and a lot of them actually did get married to young girls from Noord. Let me think. I know one pizzeria close to the Mosveld, one pizzeria which is actually run by a Turkish guy with his Dutch wife. You can still see how she must have been a stunning blonde back in the 70s. Right now she looks exhausted of living for 40 years with this guy who never stops talking and joking and baking his under average pizzas. But the place itself is a joy to visit. Especially because, and that's what I really like to do, because these older blonde ladies in their 60s now, who used to be, you know, the life of the party, now they're tired, they've smoked and drank a lot, they don't look very, how do you say, fresh anymore. Their face is very often closed, and then it's a sport to have pizza there and try to find the right jokes, the right charming jokes to get these ladies to smile again.
And show some of their beauty.
To show their original beauty.
Yeah.
We're now going to cross the street and enter Floradorp. Floradorp is actually used to be the most notorious place in Noord. This was, I can honestly say, this was the place where they actually put the white trash to live in the 30s. Again, from the social democrat idea that people have to live decent life in decent houses in order to become decent citizens. So back then, in the 30s, they put their alcoholics and their homeless and their criminals, they put them here, stuck them here, they stayed. They've lived here now for decades. So nobody from outside Floradorp actually ever dared to enter this area. But now we're right in the middle of it.
There is one. Let's interview him, Chris.
No. But, ja, als je hier het kan stoppen. We're now at the Romeo and Juliet place. We won't go outside because it's so cold, but actually if you look out here to this field, you can see the Romeo and Juliet situation. Imagine 1972. The houses on this side used to look exactly like they look now. So this was the white trash neighborhood, and Jacques, the guy, the Romeo in the story, he was a tough guy here in the neighborhood. He had a motorcycle. He didn't work. He was always getting into trouble. Very popular among his friends and feared outside of this neighborhood. And right there across the water, you see Buikslooterdijk with all these beautiful old traditional Dutch houses. And that was the upper class neighborhood. So they're literally watching each other. But the little canal in between was a mental and physical divide. But Jacques fell in love with a girl in that black house over there, Emilie. See the black house with the beautiful roof? He fell in love with her. Of course, her parents were terrified. Her friends didn't approve. They could never publicly meet. They had to meet in the dark, in hidden places, until both of them thought, why shouldn't we celebrate our love? And they went out in public. He asked her to marry right here on this grass, right here. And they broke through this taboo, which ever since has been less high than it used to be. So ever since the connection between the working class and the upper class neighborhood has been sort of broken down. And 2 years ago, there was a great moment. This neighborhood actually organized an opera about this Romeo and Juliet story. An opera right here in the open air with amateurs from both sides of the canal participating, singing, acting. And I was there on the night that the old Jacques and Emily, who are still together, attended the performance about this Romeo and Juliet story. And I can tell you, it was heartbreaking.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can leave.
Ja. We gaan maar gewoon terug, denk ik.
Ja, toch?
How do you know this story, Chris?
How do I know these stories?
Yeah. No, the last one.
Everybody knows this story here. And of course, when the opera was organized, the story became legendary. I made a television documentary about it.
Oh, yeah.
It was really a big thing. Okay, we're heading back to Tolhuistuin now because it's been long enough. On another occasion, I would have liked to show you some of the hidden places where young people now go to date if they don't want anybody else to see them. Let's say if you're from a very traditional family or a very religious family and you still want to spend the night with your loved one, there's a few places around Noord where you can find those secret lovers.
Ja, maar dat mag even niet. Ja, maar dat mag even niet. Ga maar even zitten, Raf. Kan ik... Oh! Even zitten.
And behind this swimming pool is a beautiful park where one of the benches has been decorated as the lover's bench, and that is actually where I asked my girlfriend Willemijn to be engaged to me. So
we're here in the park.
Here in the park. So we've now been officially engaged for 5 years. I don't know if we're ever going to marry, but that's another question.
She told me that she is still waiting for your proposal.
Yeah.
Ring.
She's still waiting for the ring. She's waiting for the question.
Why don't you?
Dan hoef je niet te schrijven.
Precies. Theo has the answer. If I don't ask her, I won't have to go through the divorce after.
Oh. That's very pessimistic. Well, it's pessimistic. Actually,
Here's the question.
Happened to Romeo and Juliet of Noord. Did anybody die or?
No, I just said they're still there. Jacques and Emily are still there. And they still live there, actually.
You see? So there is
Yeah, there's hope. There's hope.
Oh, nice. It's like
Heidi, there's also hope for you, but then you have to move from the city center to Amsterdam North, and perhaps you'll get married.
No, but I don't want to get married. I did that once. One time is enough. Been there, done it.
I've did it 3 times, but I'm still looking for a new wife.
So Heidi, have you seen Özkan's new home? Actually, he lives in this. He lives in this beautifully newly built, very spacious place in Elsenhagen, and there's space enough for an ambitious.
Okay, cool.
course, all of these romances came together in the cinema Astoria right there, which used to be a cinema, the only cinema in Noord for a long time, but now it's become a Turkish supermarket. And the pizzeria I was talking about is actually right behind this building lot.
Chris, we've got still 2 minutes left before we arrive at the Tolhuistuin. You came to Amsterdam North, you lived here. If I would ask a stupid question like what would be the most beautiful spot in this part of town, what would be the place that you would pick? I know it's a difficult one because you know.
already answered it. The field where he proposed. That must be the field.
Yeah, you don't have to fill it in for him. Perhaps he has proposed 4 or 5 times to other people. Other spots. But to experience the beauty of Noord, perhaps a place where you haven't been.
Well, I mean, my favorite place in Noord is actually this neighborhood. This is where I live, and this is such a sweet, cozy, comfortable, intimate neighborhood. So I love this. I love this place. Sorry?
Ja, Rafi, ga maar even serieus.
And Theo also adds rightly so. The other way is if the weather is better and you take your bicycle, there's 2 roads along the waterside, along the parks, along the green that you can cycle through Noord without hardly seeing any building. Beautiful drive, and then it takes you right out into the meadows beyond the city. And that is true. That is probably the most beautiful thing we have to offer here.
Deze dame is
Yeah.
Super. Ja.
Okay, guys, we're all back. Some of us will have a drink later on at the Tolhuistuin. You can join us if you want.
Or go to the
Ja.
Or
We lopen sowieso even mee.
go to the Noord party later. Before we get out, I would like everyone to be on a bus selfie. So please cheer, say hello. Okay, thank you. These from mij.
Thanks for our driver, Theo.
Ja, thank you.
Ja, we gaan met de kinderen.
Thank you.
was there, but virtually.
Oh, yeah.
I was 5 minutes late.
Oh.